So Google is now rolling out updates for Workspace Labs, which is an ecosystem powered by AI in order to improve your productivity across, say, Google Docs, finding and writing emails on Gmail, using AI in Google Slides, and using AI in Google Sheets. Now, it's currently rolled out features for Google Docs and Gmail, but it's still rolling out for Slides and Sheets, and we'll cover that later on. If you want to get access to Workspace Lab, you have to actually head to Google Labs. So let's say you want to go to labs.google, and here you'll find all the new things Google is working on. So you can go ahead and apply for, say, all of these ideally, and also specifically this one if you want to use Workspace or Docs or emails, and then it will go ahead and give you access whenever it's ready. So how you get access is when you go to Google Doc, there will be a pop-up here saying that you have access to Google Docs, and if you accept the invitation, you'll be able to access it here. Now broadly, there are a couple of things you can do once you have access to it, right? So you will get this pen icon on the left side where you click, and basically you can start writing your tasks. So you can see there are certain examples: making simple spaghetti, write an event plan for a summit on tech design. So let's say we wanted to write an event plan for a generative AI hackathon to collate ideas for. So we're using ExplainX AI as a brand, and we're telling it to write a high level event plan for the event hackathon event for explainx.ai. Let's see what it kind of throws out. Again, you can go ahead and read more about the feature here, but I experimented with it and it looks pretty good. So here's how the first draft looks like, right? So you have a couple of options after it generates the first draft for you. So you can recreate, you can refine, say you can formalize it, shorten it, elaborate it, or rephrase it. And finally, you can insert it. You can see this is a pretty detailed schedule. So if we go ahead and insert it, here is the possible event plan. There's the goal of the hackathon. Then there is the target audience, timeline, location, logistics, prices, schedule, budget, marketing, evaluation, and contingency plan. So it's not very different from what a Bard or a ChatGPT would throw. But the best part about this is it's kind of directly integrated in your workspace. So for example, if you wanted to play around with this sentence or this paragraph, you can select the area and click on, say, pen icon again, and you can kind of play around with it, right? So if you can say elaborate, this will make the idea a bit more elaborative and add more details to it. So you can see it went ahead and expanded the idea way more than before. So this is how the idea looks now. Obviously, it's not kind of taking care of the complete formatting. See, it's kind of doing some bold here, and then there's like a basic paragraph here, but it's not doing like a proper formatting. You will need to kind of do it yourself at this point of time. Maybe in the future they'll introduce it. Now let's say we wanted to elaborate the schedule a bit more. So you select the schedule and then you elaborate it. While this is happening, I'm also going to be trying a couple of examples that I've collated. So let's just go ahead and try those as well. So one of these is proposals, writing essays, book summaries, business documentations or product documentations, and then finally also using it to write tweets and blogs, right? So let's start by writing a proposal, right? And I'm going to move real fast here. My goal is to just kind of show you the kind of use cases that can be explored here, right? So I can see it kind of elaborated this paragraph. Anyway, so let's go ahead and try out the proposal. So I'm taking it out here, and let's say write a proposal to ExplainX team about a partnership on a generative AI course. So let's see what it throws out. Again, it's relatively fast. The fact that you don't have to copy content from ChatGPT and paste it here makes it pretty effective. Okay, it's not able to create that. So let's see if it's able to, let's retry if it's able to do it. Again, it's great that we were able to find things that it's not able to do. It was able to generate it now. I think since it's in beta, you'll see a lot of these issues pop up. This is also why not everyone has access to this at this point of time, is they're still working on it. So it created a pretty decent proposal, I'd say, but let's say we wanted to expand it. One of the features that I'd love to have here is kind of asking for custom things. Oh, it's possible, right? So let's say make it more, legal. Yeah, make it more legal, and let's see how that sounds. So I was just saying that I needed like a custom field to add what I wanted to see in the proposal, and we were able to discover it. I don't know if we found that earlier, but let's see what it kind of throws out. I'm also going to show you how you can use this in email, and I personally think that that's way better than this because I use email more often and that can add way more value to me, right? So, okay. So it created a more legal friendly proposal now. You can see it's kind of added these sections. It's added a disclaimer stating that this is a proposal, it's not binding on either party. I've added a section on the benefits of partnership of both Explainix and company. See, here it is. I've added a section on steps, including how to contact you to discuss the partnership. I reviewed the proposal legal accuracy and made sure it complies with all applicable laws and regulation. Yeah. So I was able to go ahead and do that. Now let's move ahead and try more school and move ahead and try more generic use cases. Let's say you're a student and you wanted to write an essay on a cat walking through a city. So this is more on the lines of creating creative bits. I also want to try if it can generate images, which I don't think it's possible at this point. But let's see if it can generate images and also tables while we are on it, right? Okay, so it went ahead and created the essay. So it does like a decent job when you want to write more creative sort of a content. Again, not spending too much time here. Let's just move on to tell it to generate a table. Can you create a table for, let's say, population growth in the US? So let's see if it's able to put together the population growth table in the US. Now, one of the things that I also would want to validate is if this can scrape data, until in real time for 2023. The last census was obviously in 2020. But yeah, it can create tables apparently, right? So you can see it's a pretty decent table. So I'm just gonna see if I can ask questions on follow-up questions or tell it to add something. Yeah, so I can't really select the table for it to add more details there, but I can select text in order to make that work, right? So let's say mention population. Okay, mention population estimate in 2023. Let's see if it's able to kind of give us answers in real time. Okay, so it was able to kind of give us the population estimate of 2023, and it does work in real time, right? So it's way better than ChatGPT now, that it can give you answers that are more relevant. So you can obviously go ahead and summarize news articles for say today. So I'm gonna say summarize all the news from yesterday. I'm gonna give it very less context to see if it's able to kind of summarize that. Okay, looks like it's not able to do it. Let's say we remove articles. Okay, so it's not able to do news right now, but if we feed a specific topic, summarize news from 1st of July. Okay, so the word news is kind of flagging right now. I don't know if there's a way around that. Maybe you guys can figure it out, but you can't really use the word news and make it work right now, at least at this point in time. I'm gonna move ahead and see if it can create it created something here. So more generic about July 1st. So let's say we go ahead and create a summary of Thinking Fast and Slow. It's a book. It should ideally be able to give you that data because it's out there, but let's see how that works out. Again, not going to spend too much time. It's primarily understanding if it can scrape the internet and give you data. Yeah, it's able to do that. It's not as detailed, but it's able to give you the summary for the book. Let's say we go ahead and try the business documentation for Explainix AI. So I'm telling it to generate a business document. This is a platform to stay up to date with AI related content, tools and events. Okay, it's able to generate business documents too, but again, this is not usable. So if you want to make it more elaborated, you need to tell it to do that, right? So if you want to generate like a PRD or a business requirement document, you need to specifically specify that in the prompt, and it will be able to put together that for you, right? So this could turn out to be your good starting point, which you can then fine tune based on the use case you want to see, right? So for example, if you were writing a business requirement document, you typically also talk about the competitors and the market size, right? So let's say we wanted to document market size of generative AI at some point in the document, right? So write a note on the market size of AI and generative AI. So from the perspective of creating documents in specific sections, you can utilize this capability to autofill certain details, and these details are primarily from the perspective of being real time and real, these are all good details to add. You can see, for example, if I was doing a product documentation, I'd just add it here, call this market size, and this should be able to give some context for people who are reading. Now, for example, if I wanted to summarize this even further, so I can go ahead and select it, and let's say we shorten it out. This will kind of give like a crisp overview of this, right? So yeah, I can actually use this when I'm creating product related documentation. Let's say we go to we try and write tweets on this, right? So let's say we select this area and say write a tweet or blog on this. Let's see what it does, right? I don't know if it's the right way to prompt it, but let's see what it throws out. So if you're interested in staying ahead in generative AI, go ahead and join our Discord channel. I've added the link in the description, so if you're interested, consider joining it. Alright, so this is now generated. It's created a blog on this. Alright, so this is like a very short blog. I wouldn't call it a blog, so it's obviously not perfect, but this is the tweet. Okay, it's decent. It's not so good, but it kind of give a summary like a tweet per se. Yeah, and that's all I wanted to talk about the from the perspective of Google Docs. Now let's move on to the email side of the story, and I'm going to do two things, right? So I'm going to show you the new email creation and the replies. But let me first do replies because I really like this feature. So let's say you click on reply. You can see you get a couple of options similar to what Google Docs gives you, right? So let's say help me write, and it will go ahead and ask you for details with what you need to write on the email. Now note that this will require you to at least give 3 words for it to get some understanding. So let's say great numbers, I'd like to enroll. So this is what we'll tell it to do, and let's see what it creates. You can see typically you would have like a send option there, but when you're using this feature, you'll be able to see like an insert option there. And now it went ahead and create like a summary where it says, thank you for your interest in my course. I'm glad you're impressed by the results I've achieved. I'm confident they'll be okay. Simply click on, okay, it's kind of assuming that I am the person who's created the course, which is true. This is one of my courses. But that should not, maybe because of the same name it's getting confusing. But I think you get the point, right? So you can leverage this to kind of reply to your emails faster with very little context on what you need to write back. So let's say we wanted to write a new email, right? So let's say write a sales email to AI, a platform for AI news, content and tools for a partner. So I'm telling it to write a sales email or to explainx.ai, a platform for AI news, content and tools for a partnership on generative AI course, right? So let's say this is the email we wanted to create, and let's see what it kind of throws out to us. Again, note that you can also create sales emails. So if you're doing outbound extensively, you're reaching out to customers extensively, you can actually give details about the customer you want to reach out and a bit more details about what your company is, and it can generate like great outbound emails for you, right? So, okay, dear explainx.ai, my name is okay, leading generative providers. I'd say this is a pretty professional email to start off with. Let's say we go ahead and insert it in here. Now post this point, you can, I think, reselect it and you can formalize it. Let's say we click on formalize, it should be able to generate a new sample, which will then replace it with the old one. Okay, let's say we insert this. So it's created another sample below the email, which I don't think was the goal here. Anyway, so let's say we wanted to shorten this a bit. There's also a random option where it will use the email understanding and create like a ideal version of your email. So I'm going to try that out too in a bit. But you can see it kind of goes ahead and shortens your email for you. Let's say we do I'm feeling lucky, and it's gonna kind of randomize certain bits to generate like a best copy here. Oh man, this is I don't think we can use that often. So it's basically just randomizing anything and writing content in ways where this is a poem, right? So pretty interesting, and I would definitely use it to at least reply to my emails and create like first cuts for my workspace, and I'd encourage you to use that too. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the video, guys. If you have questions, feel free to drop those below the video in the comments, or just ask in the question section. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.